Southeast Georgia and the Lowcountry. This is WJCL 22 Morning News. See us now.
Right now on WJCL 22 Morning News at 6, Decision Day. The CDC meeting in a few to talk about whether you'll see the Johnson & Johnson vaccine again. Plus,
where do we start?
Friday finale, Disney Plus's biggest show has dropped its latest episode, and it's got ties to Savannah. And
3, 2, 1, 0. Mission and liftoff. Godspeed, Endeavour and Crew 2.
Copy, 1 Alpha.
Endeavour launches once again.
Just moments ago, the SpaceX Crew 2 team blasted off from the Florida coast. 4 astronauts have officially started their journey to the International Space Station, and we saw it live right here on WJCL 22 Morning News. Welcome to the show. I am Ashley Garrett. We do have to get a check of that certified most accurate forecast now. Here's meteorologist Melissa Hall with that certified most accurate forecast. And we missed the launch for those folks who didn't get to see it at 6 or at 5 in our last show, rather. What would they be expecting now? I understand there's a trail that they can see when the sun comes up.
Yeah, Ashley, because conditions here are fairly clear. You can see downtown Savannah got a little bit of haze out there, but otherwise we've got this camera in Hilton Head pointed. So as that sun starts to come up here in a little while, hopefully the trail behind SpaceX is going to get lit up so that you can see it if you didn't get out there and make it in time to actually watch liftoff. Now, I can't blame you if you just didn't want to get outside because it was so cold and you tried to catch it from your window, because look at these temperatures. 42 downtown Savannah. Mildest we see is 49, but that's still much cooler than where we should be, and that's at the coast. So you got some upper 30s this morning. Definitely chilly. Now, those very cold conditions, fortunately, they're coming to an end. Throughout the day, we'll get back to the 70s this afternoon. Warming trend keeps coming, and those overnight lows, they're about to get comfortable again. So tomorrow morning, if you're going to be heading out to the farmer's market, it'll be much milder to start. In fact, warmer than average as we begin our weekend. But by tomorrow afternoon, big changes coming, Ashley. Those clouds that creep in tonight and help us to stay nice and mild overnight, they're also going to bring the threat for some severe weather by tomorrow afternoon. Now, that impact weather only hanging out for Saturday. By Sunday, clouds start to clear. We're back into the 80s and a beautiful weekend. Now, what are we seeing with this impact weather? What are we expecting and when are we expecting it? I'll have all of those details in that certified most accurate forecast.
Melissa, thank you so much. Well, the future of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that's what we're set to learn today. Georgia was among several states that reported issues to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention about dangerous side effects to the vaccine. Well, across the U.S., 6 women had reported blood clots, which led to a 10-day pause nationwide. Today's meeting will decide if the one-shot vaccine can be administered again, and the nation's top doctor says he thinks that could happen.
I don't want to get ahead of the CDC and the FDA and the advisory committee, but I would imagine that what we will see is that it would come back, and it would come back in some sort of either warning or restriction.
We're told it'll be an all-day meeting starting at 11 this morning and ending at around 5. A vote is expected to take place. We'll bring you the decision on that as soon as it becomes available. New from overnight, as we wait to learn the future of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the CDC reports the death of another woman, this time from Oregon, after getting that single-dose shot vaccine. The CDC says the woman was in her 50s and developed a rare blood clot within 2 weeks after getting the shot. She was in the hospital before her death. She got the shot in early April before the CDC ordered a stop on all distribution. Health officials say they haven't confirmed her death is related to the vaccine, and they'll need to finish their investigation. In South Carolina, state health leaders say 1 million people are fully vaccinated. Well, that's 27% of the state. In Georgia, 5.5 million people have been vaccinated. Only 22% have been fully vaccinated. Well, this morning, new word from a school district in the Lowcountry. It's now making parents aware in-person classes 5 days a week will start Monday. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster signed a resolution making it mandatory statewide. Right now, only 3 of 79 districts across the state are not offering in-person learning all week. They are Greenville County, Colleton County, and Hampton School District 2.
Now, what we must do from now and coming months is focus on the students. That is, restoring the lost progress, restoring the learning that they missed. And of course, there has been, we know, some regression from their absence from the classroom. So we've got our work cut out for us.
If you were finished
Solution also requires districts pay teachers more if they teach virtually and in the classroom at the same time. Our coronavirus coverage continues right now online and on our mobile app. You can find the latest information about the return to school and find a place to get your shot. You can check that out after our morning show ends at 7. In Elizabeth City, North Carolina this morning, the NAACP and the family of Andrew Brown Jr. are demanding answers from law enforcement after deputies shot and killed him while serving a search warrant. Witnesses say Brown tried to drive away when they heard multiple rounds fired by deputies. Well, the county sheriff in that area says body cam footage can't be released without the approval of a judge.
And the reason why we don't know what happened, because nobody's telling us what happened and showing the video, the body camera, that would be the objective evidence to show what happened. Based on the witnesses that saying that he was not armed and he was fleeing, that is unlawful.
Well, the sheriff's office says the arrest warrant for the felony drug charges. The shooting is now under investigation by the State Bureau of Investigations. The man killed during a traffic stop in a Minneapolis suburb is now in his final resting place. Dante Wright's funeral was yesterday. The 20-year-old died after a Brooklyn Center police officer shot him during a traffic stop. Well, now his brother says the fight for justice is just beginning.
We got to put our boots down and stay firm in the mud and go all the way. I wouldn't care if it was a million people out here or 500 people. It's going to be somebody out here at all times. As long as our voices is being heard and as long as they know we're out here, we're going to continue to stay out here.
The police officer accused of shooting Wright has resigned from the department and has been charged with second-degree manslaughter. After the shooting, the police chief, who was also resigned, said that officer meant to use her taser. New this morning, Savannah police say there should be some personal accountability for how police respond to crisis situations. An officer spoke to CNN after recent police shootings across the country.
I think that I need to take it personally. I think every police officer needs to take it personally. And I think every American needs to take it personally. And that means to be outraged. It could be a muted outrage, but it has to be an uncomfortable feeling like this is unacceptable.
Well, that's Savannah police officer Patrick Skinner, who you just heard from, and he says the #1 goal of law enforcement should be preservation of life and building trust among community members. And now on a much lighter note, to the Oscars now, just 2 days away, and we're giving you a first look at a show shot right here in Savannah. WJCL's Daniel Robinson joins us now with a look at the show and the local actress getting her shot on the screen. Daniel, good morning.
Ashley, good morning to you as well. The final episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier is now streaming on Disney+. And if you're planning on watching, you might even catch a familiar face as she makes her debut alongside several famous actors.
15 seconds to drop. So what's our plan? Great.
Jumping right into the action as the latest series by Marvel is putting the spotlight right back on Savannah. The show stars Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. While these scenes were supposed to be set in Louisiana, they were actually filmed right here throughout the Peach State, including at a home in the Vernonburg community off White Bluff Road and at Moon River at Downing Piers on Skidaway Island. Now, without giving away too much, WJCL did catch up with one Savannah native who will appear in this final episode.
Well, it's very exciting, to know that, I was even called to be in this movie. And not only that, to be in an episode with a famous person as Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan.
Now, other notable filming locations for this 6-episode series includes a local high school, Dobbins Air Base in Marietta, Atlanta, and the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now, Ashley, coming up at 6:30, we'll be hearing more about Sheila Jackson's experience and where you might be able to catch her when you watch that episode on Disney+, because again, it is streaming as of 3 a.m. today.
That's
Ashley.
Right. Daniel, listen, in your last half hour, I know you asked the public to weigh in on our web script that we have on our WJCL Facebook page. So what kind of comments, what kind of social media reaction are you seeing to the story we posted?
Yeah, actually, so far it's just been very positive. You know, I think the most positive comment here locally would be that they can't wait to watch it. They can't wait to, they don't want to miss it, that is, because it was filmed, part of it at least, right here in our area. Now, I was even looking on Twitter, and I think the biggest reaction right now is people are really tuning in to see what happens to one of those main characters in this final episode. Of course, we're not going to tell you. You have to watch for yourself because I don't want to give it away, but actually the reaction is positive.
Daniel, thank you so much. No spoiler alerts. That was a good move. Time check this morning. It is just about 6:11. More than a year after theaters across the country were forced to close due to the COVID-19 pandemic, moviegoers are starting to return to watch films on the big screen. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is in Los Angeles with what some experts say.
It is the real-life drama of a fight for survival, not playing out in theaters, but about them. The coronavirus pandemic packing a financial punch to movie theaters across the country, with ticket sales down 80% in 2020 compared to the year before. At least one chain, Pacific Theaters, saying it's been hit so hard, all of its locations will stay shuttered. But as other theaters start to reopen at limited capacity nationwide, many wonder if this is the start of a comeback story for this American pastime.
I think it remains to be seen whether or not people will start piling into movie theaters the way that we used to before.
Streaming services are playing a leading role in the battle over film audiences. Multiple studios opted to release movies on digital platforms rather than theaters during the height of the pandemic, and it largely paid off with audiences and recognition. After a change in the Academy Awards rules this year, Netflix is going into the upcoming Oscars with 35 nominations, more than any other studio. And Amazon Studios racked up a notable 12 nods.
How do you put the genie back in the bottle when this whole thing is over? I think there is an appetite for Hollywood to find a solution where streamers and the theaters can coexist.
Possible solutions are already being tested. Warner Brothers is now releasing all of its 2021 movies on HBO Max the same day they open in theaters. And it's giving reason for optimism. Box office sales for one of those dually released films, Godzilla vs. Kong, exceeding expectations and giving a boost to AMC's stock as moviegoers slowly make their way back.
The whole atmosphere, the whole feel of being at the movies, I don't think you can beat that.
Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.